Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukake, your host. Our heroes have taken their first step towards escaping Greensboro Penitentiary, but after rescuing Von Strauss, Alan was taken over by the voice in her head, Xanthus. Can our heroes carry out their plan, Sans Wizard? How will Gary's secret motives affect their escape? Is Alan dead? Seriously, WTF? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
Alan, your eye goes red. You fall into a shoulder roll, stand up, feel your neck, smile, say finally, and disappear. Please give me your character sheet and your cards.
No!
What? This is what happened right before he ripped my character sheet up. Don't rip it. Don't do that. Don't rip it.
Oh, it's just going in a pile, maybe. Oh.
I'm folding this up, putting it in my pocket.
Ah, interesting.
Pockets better than pieces.
Pockets way better than pieces.
That's our motto for the podcast from now on.
We're just going to be chanting pocket the next time you ask for a piece of paper.
Pocket.
My heart is pounding right now.
And I'm sure Alan's is somewhere in Tom's pocket.
Laura, I'm going to give you Von Strauss to control for the remainder of the adventure.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that's what happens.
Why are you laughing, Von Strauss? I want to talk about this. That's not funny. I know you have a problem with wizards, but that seems like a dick move right now. I stagger up. I'm smoking.
He's high.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you're stoned.
It's not funny at all.
Tom, this is so crucial. Where is Billy Fingers?
Billy Fingers is on the ground.
Billy, come here. And I wave Billy Fingers over.
He's looking real concerned at Gary and comes over and is truly distraught.
I pet him on my shoulder and I'm like, Billy, not Gary's fault. Honestly, Alan made a choice there. That was a bad call. Other things have happened, not Alan's fault. Always trying to do good.
Where did she go? Did she go?
That's a new one.
That's new?
Yeah, I don't know what just happened.
I talked with Alan about this vaguely and tried to explain to her what I thought was happening, and I think it's the worst version of what I thought was happening. She kept taking fucking deals and not asking questions. Quinny, I didn't want to out you because I didn't know what Alan knew and what you knew, but Jesus Christ, you seem to be in a very similar boat. This is the problem of trucking with demons. This is an unfortunate thing to say based on our experience, but apparently you have a deal with some sort of spooky black guy.
Yeah.
Alan seems to have been trading powers with one, and when she used enough, it got the body. So Alan is somewhere with Xanthus. I'm going to quote Alan here. We got to focus on this and deal with that later. If we're in prison, we're not getting to hell. We've got a friend in hell we can make a phone call to when we're out. But I need to get this fucking collar off before I can call the goddess.
I agree that we got to get that collar off you if we're going to make any steps towards bringing Alan back.
Good news is we have one less person to smuggle up the tower.
And realistically, the other good piece of news was Alan was our weakest story. I am the Forsaken. This is Von Strauss. Alan was going to be a younger, half-not drow clone of the Doctor. That was always not the best.
So, Von Strauss, your vision's kind of blurring. You're sort of coming back to yourself. Everything you know is upside down, left is right, up is down. You seem to have memories of tortures, you have memories of great victories, but through great, tremendous personal strength, you manage to focus on the task at hand. You don't quite feel like yourself, but damn it, whatever this is, you're going to get through it. You look around and you see a bird person, you see a tall, mostly naked, bearded man with a fresh scar on his face, and you see a tiny ninja.
Hey, we got your clothes, because we don't know you don't know us anymore.
What? I just looked down at myself.
You look great.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't trust magic at all, and I have a superstition that anything that magical might tip someone off in here through other security measures. We should now storm the gates. We are at a disadvantage. Let's press whatever we have and go up the tower and see what this brings. You are, for some reason, the Forsaken?
The Forsaken. Yeah, he's a big deal.
Okay.
You should read my book. I didn't write it, but it's great.
Boy, you should be joking now after everything
This isn't a joke. That's literally all true.
When he looks at Gary and is like,
How did you... There's...
The key is management. A lot of people
We
think
don't
it's
have to... Shut up! Just shut up. We need to concentrate and think on what we're going to do here. You are a new clone, right? Strauss, are you here?
What's a clone?
Wait.
What?
I am
What's
Von
your...
Strauss.
Yes,
What,
Von Strauss.
Here's a challenge, Von Strauss. Tell us
3 things about yourself.
I am a paladin.
1.
Okay, that's good.
I love flaming swords.
Okay, that's also good.
2. Yes, true. Okay.
And I'm going to escape this prison.
These
I
are
like-
all good things.
That's
Now,
great.
can you just stand there for a second? And I gesture Gary and Quinny in. Okay, Von Strauss took the drugs and has gone bonkers. However, likes flaming swords. We
like
have a
him.
flaming sword, so I think we can get some trust. Wants to get out of prison, ultimately aligns with the goals. Monosyllabically confused. Honestly, that's probably better acting than Von Strauss could have done as a clone if Von Strauss is completely stupid. So, give him a sword, suit him up, follow the plan.
That works for me.
I start putting my armor on.
What's the sad montage song?
A slow, dramatic remake of Doctor, Give Me the News. I got a bad case of loving you, but just slow the hell down so it's so tragic.
And there's
in
like a
minor
weird
key.
children's choir comes in.
Yeah,
midway
absolutely.
through.
It comes in partway through, and I'm just picturing Alan not as she was at the end, but as she had been previously, just laughing as she melts a goblet. Like everything turns horrible. It's always like a nice memory and then ends in a homicide, but I love both parts of it equally. It's equally beautiful.
Question, DM. Can I spend any amount of stress? I've got 4 remaining because we mentioned that Gary had other failed-ish escape plans. Is there a way he could have either tunneled or bypass at least getting for the front door of the tower, speeding us along?
I
there?
will give that to you for 4 stress, but I want you to explain the 3 separate attempts that you orchestrated that you weren't involved with. Tell me who it was, what they did, and how it failed.
Well, the first one was like 15 years ago. Not sure if you've heard about this one, but befriended a dwarf who was big into mining. They had a poster of Paylor, and just behind that poster, they were just chipping away and bearing it through. And it was a pretty good tunnel. He got a solid 20 feet into the edge of the tower there. He was caught and didn't divulge the information there.
As a dwarf, what was his ultimate fate?
He became a clock.
Jesus.
The second attempt was a little more elaborate. It was actually on this very day, the day of no births. There was a prison riot when it came to evening because no one was getting cake, and that was understandable. And so we actually managed to storm past the guards up the tower, and seeing that they were going to be overwhelmed. Also, Gary had befriended a wizard and got them to transmute the stone to break the tunnel to the tower itself. And on the third try, which Gary did not think would work at all, but was kind of getting closer to desperation, he befriended a druid called Jakob Goodbark, and he kind of broke his no magic rule for this one. And Gary pitched all these ideas of different useful animals, but he became a spider, and followed this spider through the hole, and actually, through his powers, managed to break through the hole and up the tower quite a ways, and was going to make it clean, but the spider doubled back to bite a man in half. And then Gary had to slink in the shadows. So this tunnel actually was always an option for Gary, but it's just so loaded with loss and failure.
Some bad karma.
Yeah. I mean,
some bad juju in that.
yeah, some
tunnel.
mojo, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think Gary's like, there is another way.
So you find yourselves in this tunnel, ignoring most of the blood.
Von Strauss and I are in full armor. We got our gear. Alan's staff and stuff, I guess I'll just strap to my back. I don't want to lose her shit that didn't
Did that
teleport
go
with
with
her.
her?
It
or-
did?
Well, because Von Strauss had it, so it just teleported away from Von
anything that
Strauss.
Von
was?
Strauss has is with Von Strauss.
Yeah, so I'll take the staff and strap it to me. But yeah, everything else you had on you.
Staff looks familiar.
Yeah, I'll hang on to that,
can't
buddy. You're
quite
doing
place
great.
it.
I trade him for the sword. I'm like, here's how you know we're on your team.
We are very close. We just need to go up to the warden's office. I actually know nothing about the office itself.
Quinny will pull Butthole aside before we do this final push and say, look, this whole escape attempt has turned into a real shit show.
Oh, yeah, this is a fucking disaster.
So in light of what you have sacrificed for me, I'm going to be straight with you.
Okay.
If we need to go all out for a fight or something like that, there is something within me that you saw just a glimpse of when we were one that I can tap into to help us win the fight. I'm telling you now that I will try not to use it, but if it means surviving, if it means escaping, if it means finding Alan again, then that is something that I'm going to rely on.
Do you know the terms of your deal?
Feels like an eternal service kind of thing.
So
Trying to
no.
figure
Why
out
does
some
nobody
loopholes.
ask questions about this? But okay,
Look, there
okay,
was no
okay.
time to ask questions.
Honestly,
He
you
ripped me apart.
You were in hell. That's a little different. Alan seemed to be a little more willy-nilly. You've been in shitty deals before. I'm also aware
Yeah.
of that. Honestly, do what you gotta do. But all I can say is trust your feelings on this one. We watched with Alan. It started to spread. She kept going, and then pushed it. Know
will
your
say-
limit and play within it. I heard that somewhere.
I'll tell you this. He has offered me things that I have turned down. So I have the capacity to say no for now.
Well, let's just make one thing clear. If it's gonna come down to you damning your soul or me going to hell, there's some good shit for me down there.
All right.
Take note. If somebody's dying, moi, and then we'll sort it out. But yes, we'll get fucking Alan. So do what you got to do.
Okay.
And I appreciate this conversation. Shows your mind in the fine print, and that's really important in deals with supernatural entities.
Right. Got it.
Can he hear everything that's said to you?
You listening, asshole?
I'm always listening.
This motherfucker. Let's go.
And then I write on a piece of paper, and it just says, "Can he read this?" And I hold it up.
Yes.
I'm assuming you don't hear them, but I just nod to you.
And then I just write, oh, I don't know, I read it again, but I do anyways. And I flip over the other side and I say, oh, good, I don't have a plan. And I hold it up
I point to your collar, then I point to my brain, then I wink, and then I continue on.
and I eat the piece of paper.
It could have tasted worse.
I mean, I haven't eaten all day. It's been a long time. And I'm
It's been a
big
long
guy.
time.
Skipped both meals. So you spill out onto the upper part of the staircase. You can hear Warden Burgermeister Meisterburger up the stairs. He seems to be shouting something about the day of no births and how frustrating that is. Peeking up the staircase, it's a rectangular tower, so corners, stairs, usual. You're able to sneak up if you want. The door to his office seems to be open. You can hear him quite clearly.
Gary will kind of do a talon to beak motion and start to lead the sneak charge.
Yeah.
So he's hoping.
Happy to be sneaking with you.
Okay, roll me some stealth checks, please.
I guess they want Von Strauss and I to sneak.
I rolled a 24 for my stealth.
Yeah, I'm at a 16 for stealth.
7 for stealth?
19.
So obviously Quinny and Von Strauss, I think there's something really funny about watching big man sneaking, but you're actually very good at it.
Very nimble.
You're an incredibly powerful character when you're not tortured. So you guys managed to sneak up quietly. Butthole is fairly loud, but I imagine stops the minute he clinks.
I guess I'll breeze and then I can walk in after them. So when I realize I'm doing terribly, I'll just stay where I am
Yeah,
and let them
I'll
keep
like
going.
hand signal stop and then just kind of mouth you. We'll call you. We'll bring you.
I go to nod and then realize that'll make noise, and then I just cross my eyes at you and uncross them, holding perfectly still.
And I look at you thinking like, does he get it?
The three of you who are stealthing get close enough to the door that you can hear a voice that almost sounds like harp music. It's so beautiful. It's just very melodic and very soft.
You say it's a voice?
Yeah.
A shiver runs up Von Strauss's spine.
The voice is so beautiful. You can't ascertain gender. You can't ascertain what kind of creature it is. Just truly all of you feel warm and listened to and respected. You hear the voice saying, "The new army is everything you promised, Meisterburger. You've truly done wonderful work, and an absolute kudos to all of your trainers. They've really done such good work. The Quinny models are everything my siblings and I could have hoped for."
Oh my God, Ira Glass.
Hi, this is Ira Glass. I'm a D&D villain now. On today's episode, Quinny clones and what they can do for you. Just throw some extra vocal fry and hipster disillusionment on there, and I got myself an Ira Glass. And then you hear Meisterburger say, "Well, of course, we only clone the best inmates, the most useful inmates, and I'm certainly glad to hear that they are working for your purposes, although I understand that the unseen hand is making short work of most of them. Why are we even bothering to train these people if they're just going to get mowed down in the battlefield?" And you hear the soothing voice suddenly go very icily cold, and the shift is horrifying. "We did not come here to debate with you, Meisterburger. We came to ask when we can have our next units. When will we get the Von Strauss unit?"
Kind of peek in and like do a quick scan as much as I can, ignore these voices and just look for what I could perceive as the controls for these collars.
Sure.
Perception, or what do you think?
Perception would be good, or investigation. You can do whichever one you'd prefer.
8.
Looking in and around, you can see Burgermeister Meisterburger. They're standing there talking, overlooking the yard. It seems like there might be some combat happening down there now. Burgermeister up on Meisterburger's head. He's very excited about this and is like jumping up and down and screaming in that horrible tiny voice. Meisterburger, however, seems to be more intent on making what looks like perhaps a plate of nachos.
Like a snack buffet.
You're going to report this back to us. I'm going to say, I don't believe you.
The room itself looks like a cross between
They look good.
very expensive box at a sporting arena and someone's dad's man cave from the 70s. So just horrible carpet, green walls, musty couch. There's a dartboard that has really never been used, but it's there. There's a mounted dwarf head on the wall.
Everywhere throughout, if you look at pieces of furniture, there's a smaller piece of furniture sized for the hat person, very much a la the Island of Dr. Moreau with the little one.
Yeah, just everywhere. And then even though you're trying just to look around, in the center you can see a glowing orb on a small pedestal that looks wildly out of place, but that you suspect would be the control system for the collars. You also see, even though you're trying not to pay any specific attention to anyone, the most objectively beautiful person you've ever seen. And they've got that crazy ethereal beauty that defies your brain. You can't tell what race they are. You can't tell what gender they are, but they are your perfect definition of beauty. And they seem to be smiling radiantly at Burgermeister Meisterburger.
So I'm going to pull myself away from this beauty and try to look back.
Can you roll me a wisdom save?
14.
It's really fucking hard, but you managed to do it.
What's in there?
There is an entity in there that is beautiful beyond words, and so therefore is a danger. Actually, before I state my plan, another question for you, which I'm not sure if I got from that perception check. With this tower, Gary assumed this may not be true. Is there any window or outing away?
Sorry, there's windows. Think of it as an airplane control tower. So just windows lining it. There aren't floor to ceiling, but there's definitely windows lining the room.
Gary turns to you two. Quinny.
Yeah.
It has been wonderful to get you back to your original state. And for me, it has been very fulfilling, the training. Oh, so many of you to actually see the real you. For your friends, you should sort that out.
Yeah, you're telling me.
The unseen hand wants to talk. And I'm going to dash into the room. I'm going to attempt to grab the globe. I'm going to attempt to throw it through the window that goes outdoors. I'm just going to follow it and just get out.
All right.
That's my plan.
Damn, you're going to spend some key points to dash?
I have Step of the Wind,
Okay.
so I can dash as a bonus action.
Yep.
My jump speed is doubled.
So that gets you into the room, gets you to the orb.
And then I'm trying to both grab the orb and throw it and follow it with the rest of my movement.
I mean, as a monk, you have flurry of blows. So let's say
Right.
your flurry of blows is the grab and the toss.
Right, yeah.
And then you can use your action to jump.
So that's 2 key points spent just to make, an attempt of that happen.
Party in a flash. You see Gary disappear, bolting up the stairs. You hear him grab something. You hear a smash. What are you doing?
I yell, butthole, and I run into the room.
Yeah, I'm just going to take off after him.
Into the fray.
Excellent. You hold the sword up, and suddenly, as though an old memory, your sword bursts into flames.
Dope.
So you can add an extra D8 to all the damage you'll be doing with it. Quinny, sprinting up the stairs, you manage to enter the room just in time to see Gary run and leap out a window. Moments later, you hear a crash, and Butthole, your collar pops off. You're the only one left for the
That's
collar.
right. Von Strauss doesn't have one. Yeah.
It's fucking game time.
Inside the room, you see this ethereal beauty and a rapidly turning purple Burgermeister Meisterburger draw weapons. Burgermeister pulls out the ugliest looking trench spike you've ever seen. And the ethereal creature, almost hexadecimal style, its face goes completely vicious as it float off the ground.
The ethereal creature looks like our version of Perfect Beauty.
Yes.
Great. To me, it looks just like Quinny.
Great.
It's floating, but it's identical to Quinny.
Awesome.
To Quinny, it looks like Quinny.
And Von Strauss, do you have one for this?
I would say it looks like Lord Neverember.
Amazing.
Alive. To be clear.
Happy, just hanging out. Smash cut to outside. Gary, you see the orb falling ahead of you. You're falling, and even though you're in free fall, one of the first time you felt free in ever so long.
Yes. I can actually fall and use my one wing.
The orb shatters. Your collar pops. What do you do?
I just kind of close my eyes and breathe deeply and then focus in on okay, only one wing. And I try to slow my descent. Or, I could just cast slow fall, which is a monk thing.
Either way, your feet hit terra firma and you sprint off into the night.
I wink at the camera. I wink at 4 different places where I think a camera would be. To be good camera angles.
And you disappear into the night. Okay, so if everyone can please roll initiative.
Ooh, that's pretty good. 21 for Quinny's initiative.
2.
8.
Total initiative is 2?
2.
Von Strauss.
Admittedly, Von Strauss is pretty foggy, so this seems sort of realistic. Right now, the Birdman just disappeared for Von Strauss.
He has no sense of object permanence. It's just, he's gone.
Literally,
Where'd
like
he go?
when you guys have been talking, I've been kind of like blurring my eyes to kind of like just
Really get into
channel.
It's going to be hard to look at your stats.
It's really distracting.
She won't stop doing it. It's just really distracting.
All right, so Quinny, you're in a room with a slightly more ethereal Quinny and both Burgermeister and Meisterburger. What do you do?
As per our discussion, this plan completely went to hell and we got to fight our way out of here. And I feel his presence and internally say, all right, let's run through some of the motions and see if we still got it. And my eyes will go black and infernal. I will recite the phrase that I have said 1 or 2 times. Does anyone in the room understand infernal?
Yes.
Yeah? Whoever that person is, they hear me say, by my blade, your soul is his.
Dope.
Yeah.
Say Von Strauss, you understand that. It doesn't sit well with you.
Oh.
But you're also still tripping balls, so...
Anyway.
You're not sure who said it.
You're still not sure there was a Birdman.
So I just laugh maniacally.
And with all that flavor out of the way, I cast Hex on Meisterburger.
Meisterburger is the human part, and Burgermeister is the spooky goo pipe thing.
Yep. Okay, so how does that work, sir?
So I place a curse on a creature that I can see within range. Until the spell ends, I deal an extra 1d6 necrotic damage to the target whenever I hit it with an attack. This is a bonus action also, so I'm still going to get to attack them. So they have disadvantage on ability checks made with an ability I choose. So I can choose if they have like dexterity disadvantage or constitution. Given our present company, I'm going to make it disadvantage on all dexterity checks. So if you've got anything that they can dodge out of the way of, you've got a higher chance of hitting them with it.
Okay, so a shadow passes over Meisterburger's eyes. You can see sort of the hair on his very hairy neck stand up, and he seems gently uncomfortable.
Okay, I'm going to close the distance between the two of us and attack with Frostbrand.
Great, do it up.
Okay. 23.
That'll hit.
7 damage.
Do you have any pluses?
I do. I apologize. Yes. Plus 5. So 22? 12.
Yeah, there we go. 7 plus 5, 22.
Yeah, he's dead. He explodes.
You can hear Burgermeister leaping up and down on his head, being like, "Ah!"
You're next.
Okay, so we know the little guy doesn't talk.
Okay, so the ethereal creature waves its hands in a series of gestures and unleashes a flurry of magic missiles at you, Quinny.
Well, those will hit, won't they?
They sure will.
Dang it.
So that is 11 points of damage.
I'm going to use Uncanny Dodge.
It's strange because you're seeing yourself, but if you're just so much more graceful and so much more elegant. Butthole, you've just seen Quinny throw magic missiles at Quinny.
Yeah, I don't like that shit at all, because I heard a voice that sounded beautiful and talked about my parents, and I know Meisterburger don't sound so great. So that means there's somebody here on the Tingler side of things. So Quinny sprints, and I just look down and feel the collar come off, and my body fills with faith. Like I feel the magic, and it kind of comes from the heart. I've had so much pain and so much loss because my magic has been gone. And now I know my magic has been gone because this fucking place did that, which means this ethereal person and Burgermeister killed Martha and Kevin. So shit is gonna get done in the name of Moonhammer. So I just howl.
Does this wake you up inside?
Oh, God, yes. So I just yell like, oh, die. And then I reach out with a hand as I charge forwards at the ethereal floating Quinny, because the only thing worse than blaspheming against Moonhammer is blaspheming against the most perfect man I know. So I, as a bonus action, summon the Fists of Moonhammer from the sky to lash out.
The Fists of Moonhammer being hammers, right? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
she's got
That's-
hammers for hands.
That's the joy of the Fists of Moonhammer. It's all exceedingly violent. They will strike as I'm running forwards. That's a total of 9.
No dice.
All right, so they pass through, and as the magic missiles sprint towards Quinny, they actually bat the fist aside on that side, but that's okay. That was just the distraction. So I'm swinging in. I've got Moonlight Bringer. It feels so great to be back in the world of Moonlight Bringer. So take a swing, single-handed, because I got my beautiful shield. That is a nat 20.
beautiful.
And then I am going to use my power of Hammer Hands, channeling the power of the goddess, and the end of Moonlight Bringer farts. So it hits one way, and then I pull back and it farts forward and hits again. or doesn't. In this case, probably doesn't. That would be 13.
That'll hit.
Yeah, all right. So they both hit. So now we're getting fucking violent. So the critical roll has also been powered by Moonhammer, because Moonhammer hated that hand got bad at his side, because I have the power to do that. I call it Farts of Fury, but it's channeling the power of Moonhammer once per turn. 26 damage.
Those are big numbers.
Hooah.
That was a potent hit against the creature. For a second, you lose the image of Quinny. You see it for its true self as it kind of staggers to the ground. It screams in rage at you, which, of course, just sounds like Quinny screaming in rage, but also really happy, beautiful rage.
It sounds beautiful to me because that's how angry I am. So it's got an emotional resonance at my core.
Exactly. Great. Paladin von Strauss.
Did I also see the creature flicker? Or
Yes, everyone saw that
Okay.
because it was because of massive hammer damage.
So I was kind
Damage, if
of
you will.
kind of enthralled in my bewildered state, and then I saw Lord Neverember change and saw the creature for what it was. And just yelled, "You demon, you shall not mock the Lord Neverember!" And so I get to take 2 hits.
Yes, 2
Is that what it
strikes.
is?
Yep.
Okay, and so I'm just gonna, with my flaming sword,
All right, do it up.
charge and just hack down into the neck.
So if you're swinging it two-handed, like you were miming it just now,
Yeah.
that'll be D8s.
So I have to roll to attack, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And I add 5 to both?
Yeah.
First one is 8. Second is 9.
You come in swinging, forgetting that you're also slightly drugged up, so you kind of stumble a bit. You're worried that maybe your internal organs aren't where they were originally. There's all sorts of weird potential
God.
stuff that's going on with you. So you take 2 big arcing swings of the sword, missing both times. Nevertheless, Butthole, pretty cool. Got Paladin von Strauss hanging with you now.
This is great. The sword's on fire. I'm so into it.
Right?
I mean, secretly in my head. No, Deathfield Fury, but
Yeah, it does feel fury, but cool.
yeah.
Top round, Quinny, you're engaged with Burgermeisters.
Yes, and I will continue to fight them since I've cursed them. So I'm going to take another swing. That should hit with 19 on the die plus 8.
Yes, that'll hit.
Oh my goodness. That's pretty nice. So that's going to be 17 plus 5. So 39. Maybe a little less than that.
22.
22.
Yeah, I guess just we should actually say how much it is.
I would appreciate that for keeping track of HP,
It was 39.
as one does.
No, it's 22. It's 22. I'm so sorry. Please don't.
I gave you your body back this episode. you
Please don't have like a
asshole.
meteor fucking hit me or anything. I'm so sorry.
So a sound hit, it staggers him slightly. As he falls backward, Burgermeister leaps off at your face, blowing a horrible puff of smoke into your eyes from his weird, gross mouth. It fills your throat, and I need you to please roll me a Constitution save.
12.
As you choke on the fumes of the smoke, and as the tiny rat monkey starts punching your face, you fall prone at Meisterburger's feet, and he yells, "Stompy, stompy!" And he attempts to curb stomp you into the edge of the weird 2-level floor. I don't know, it's just trying to stomp your head. So you're prone, so he gets advantage. So he will hit you for 15 points of damage.
I'm going to use Uncanny Dodge.
Can you use that every time you take damage?
Yeah.
Wow.
High level rogues, they get super shifty.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. That is their turn, which brings us to the ethereal creature. It turns its eyes on Von Strauss, having just rushed it. It is going
I
to...
will attempt to parry whatever the hell it's doing.
Great. Can you please roll me a wisdom save?
9.
So remember how funny it was that someone's going to steal someone's soul? It's really funny to you now. And you see Lord Neverember standing in front of you, and he's regaling you with a tale of that time that everything was great in Neverwinter, and he was definitely alive, and you hadn't been the subject of an experiment, and everything was great. So you find yourself overcome with torrents of hideous laughter. And you fall prone to the ground. You'll have to save to get back up because currently, you're just having the best time.
Butthole, he's way too high.
Damn it, Von Strauss, you drugged up fucker.
Which brings us to Butthole. You can see the creature. It's weird because Quinny is telling a bunch of jokes about Neverwinter to Von Strauss, and Von Strauss is loving it.
Yeah, like, fuck that shit. So I have a moment where I start to chuckle at one of the jokes, and then the fist of Moonhammer pops out of the sky and just sort of like taps me on the head, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then it thunders forwards, taking a swing at the ethereal being. And that is 10.
We are rolling
To
real
hit.
bad right now.
That will not hit.
It's okay. It got caught off by the laughter. For some reason, whenever this creature's looking, it's driving the hammer aside. Maybe there's like an attraction. Admittedly, Moonhammer's very much about the party, and I think this creature seems to be very much about at least the jokes, which is within the wheelhouse. However, after the loss of Martha, I yell, "How did you know that name?" And then I'm taking a swing with Moonlight Bringer. 26 to hit.
Yes, that will hit.
I ram the hammer forwards into the gut, and then I swing it all the way around again as the hammer farts and do an overhead swing down onto the creature, which is a nat 1.
Okay.
So for the first hit, for the record, roll 2d8s. That's 3 ones in a row, people. We're really taking over the world right now. 6 damage from the hit to the stomach. Though that makes sense because that wasn't supposed to be the finishing blow. That was just supposed to be the warm-up.
Yes, and then you're using the fart power of the hammer to
Yes.
talk back. So in your confusion about why Von Strauss is laughing so much and also the difficulty of hitting your pal Quinny, you loosen your grip slightly, and as the fart power blasts it, your hammer flies out of your hands and out of the window.
Oh, can you Mjolnir it back?
I was literally just thinking that.
I hold out my hand and think for a second, and nothing happens. I'm like, no, I cannot do that. That's going to take a trip.
Brings us to Von Strauss. Oh my God, yeah. And there was that time at the Moonstone Mask where, you were a paladin, so you didn't do anything, but I did a lot of things.
Why would this be funny?
Because you're enchanted. Try and roll a save.
All right. 14.
Wait a minute, why would this be funny? This isn't funny. We're in the middle of combat. What the hell's wrong with you? You grab your sword. You're still prone. What do you do?
Okay, so I'm going to two-hand it over my head and just try to drive it into the creature's gut.
Okay, you'll be at disadvantage because you're attacking from the ground,
Yeah.
but otherwise go ahead with your 2 strikes.
That's right. Thank you. 19
That'll hit.
to hit. The second will be 15 to hit.
That'll hit as well.
I roll my damage. First one is 8 damage. The second is 9 damage.
The ethereal creature's looking pretty fucked up. You've driven the sword straight through it. It begins to cry. The Never Ember illusion is still there, but it begins to cry and plead with you and beg you not to do this.
And I'm kind of crying, but also really angry.
You're having a hell of a day. All right, Quinny, top of the round.
All right.
You're on the ground. You've got a monkey on your face.
Yeah, so I'm going to spring back up to my feet. Is the monkey going to be an issue for me making an attack?
The monkey will give you disadvantage.
All right, then I'm dealing with the monkey. I'm going to wrench him off my face. I'm going to throw him out the window.
Okay. Roll me a dexterity check, please.
If he steals my hammer, I'm going to be so mad.
So
a different
much-
window.
There's so much shit flying out the windows.
That's a 9.
So you're trying to grab him, but not unlike Billy Fingers. He is fucking fast. He is just crawling all over that face.
Well, then I say, Billy!
Billy sees your dilemma, sees you stumbling, batting at your face, and Billy runs and does the Luke Cage kick from Mortal Kombat. He goes, but you see something, Quinny, in his eyes as he does it. You can tell he's so distraught and that he's fired up. He's furious. I've never seen him so angry. It means he doesn't check his speed. So he boots that monkey, and together the two of them blow out through a window and off into the night.
Shit, well, just another friend we'll have to get back.
I'm just like
Jesus
making a
fuck.
checklist. Get the hammer, get the monkey, see if Gary isn't dead.
Get Alan, get Billy Fingers. Why are we getting the monkey?
He means
Well,
French.
You just want
No. That
just want
monkey
another
too.
monkey,
Well,
yeah.
Listen, Wrench seems to be a little bit undead, and we don't have any replacement parts. So I think the second monkey
Maybe just
could be useful.
just get a barrel that you can put all these monkeys in.
If Alan needs a new body, we got to put her somewhere.
Quinny, that'll be your full action,
Yep.
but you are now monkey free. Meisterburger is screaming at the top of his lungs. He seems very genuinely concerned about the possible death of his monkey companion, unlike all of you with Billy Fingers.
Oh, no, we're concerned.
My
We're
turn is over, but I have to go
right.
find him.
Fair enough.
For some reason, we all believe Billy Fingers will be okay.
Brings us
Billy
to
Fingers is the best of us.
we're worried about Alan. Billy, we're confident about.
brings us to Meisterburger, who is absolutely livid. You're still standing directly in front of him, is that correct?
Yes.
Quinny?
Yeah.
He screams, "He was the best part of me!" And you see him kind of lock his hands together, and to your shock, he seems to summon a ball of flame, and then he just full-on Street Fighters it at you.
He Hadokens me?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Please roll a DC 16 Dex check.
That's a 15, so I just came up short.
Just
Yeah.
short.
Yeah.
So take 17 points of flame damage.
Aye.
And you can see tears rolling off his rough cheeks, but also evaporating in the heat as he maintains the fire streak. Outside the window, Burgermeister and Billy Fingers are in a full Gandalf Balrog fight. But because they're so small, they are falling forever. The music's playing like, oh, oh.
I just picture like the wind buffeting them around like a plastic bag.
I like
Like
the song
everyone
you're
taking-
singing is what I was picturing, which is that music from Titus, like the Tamor version.
It's just like Billy Fingers is like blocking the attacks, but like punching with his other little fingers as they continue to plummet towards
They're both
the earth.
trying to jab at each other's eyes, but it's just claws at eyes.
Yeah,
or
the monkey's trying to
fingers again.
spike him with the back of his pipe. Honestly, it's a tremendously dramatic fight. We don't have time to go into it right now, but wow, that's so good they'll never show it on TV again. That brings us to the ethereal creature, which is weeping and dragging itself along the blade until it can reach a hand out to you, Von Strauss. And as it touches your face, you feel that stupid love euphoria that they always show when they play da-da-da-da-da, where you're running through a field and everything's great. You are every dating ad you've ever imagined. So what this is going to do is I need you to roll me a charisma save, please.
Okay. 19.
You've never frolicked in a field. You're the paladin Von Strauss, damn it.
Von Strauss hath not known love.
Von Strauss have known service.
If it had got the spell right, it would have just been you doing chin-ups and bowing to people.
Yeah, as you're running through the field, it's exactly that image. And kind of in the sky, you can see this creature waving its arms and smiling. And then you're running and you're happy. And then all of a sudden, the sword's coming out from behind your back. And you just cleave through the image and it falls away. And you're back to holding the blade in the creature's gut. And it looks furious.
Cool.
Bring us to Butthole.
I look at this ethereal creature. Its sword's still in it. I'm on board. Just staggered, asshole. And I just look at it and I say, Moonlight Bringer out the window. Billy Fingers out the window. Alan, I don't fucking know where. Martha dead. And you killed Kevin, the master of disguise. You took all that away from me, but you know what you didn't take? Moonhammer. And then a fist thunders down to try to hit it in the back. 18 to hit.
Yep.
18 damage from the fist in the back.
Oof.
At which point I present my shield before me and I close my eyes and then I summon a swirl of hammers all around me, extending 15 feet in all directions. I know that this creature is within them. Is Meisterburger
too,
also
yeah.
great? So they both need to pass a wisdom saving throw, DC 15. If they fail, they take 3d8 damage, half if saved.
The ethereal creature will take full. Meisterburger rolled a 20, so I'm going to say that his rage and fire, he uses the kind of continual stream of fire to buffet the
Ooh, I like
magical
that.
hammers away.
16 damage from the swirl of hammers of the moon.
The hammers are just pounding into this thing, and it's screaming, and it sounds like babies crying, and it's horrible and wonderful at the same time. It is incredibly bloody. It's barely holding on. Von Strauss, you've got your blade buried in this thing. The hammers are pounding it deeper and deeper onto your blade. What do you do?
I'm going to dig my feet in and try with one final stroke to eviscerate.
So you want to raise the
I want to
blade?
raise the
from
blade
naves to
up
chap.
into its chest.
Can you roll me a strength check?
Yes. 16.
So it is a lightweight thing at this point. You staggering to your feet, surrounded by hammers, stand up, raising the creature on your blade, and then the blade bursts into flames, and the creature writhes in agony and falls limp. All of a sudden, the room seems to become darker. The world seems like a less lovely place. It seems like we've really lost something powerful. And Von Strauss, you immediately recognize, now that the illusion's fallen away, the very classically patrician features of a plantier. Cut to...
Ooh.
Do we know which
Wait.
plantier it was? Because I
Yeah.
recognize them as well.
This isn't one you've met.
Well, there's parents or there's maybe some siblings. Uh-oh.
You guys know that there are 5 siblings. Each of them seems to have power over one particular element. You're not sure what element this one was controlling.
I know. Fucking element of being handsome.
They did look like you.
Yeah.
The element of sex appeal was my thought.
So the plantier is dead. That brings us to top of the round, Quinny. Meisterburger uses the last of the fire to kind of knock the hammers away and is still screaming obscenities at you.
Oh, so he's not giving up, even though he's the last one.
You killed his monkey.
Well, I mean, Billy Fingers might kill his monkey.
Oh, hey! Oh,
All right, got to make this quick. Got to check on Billy. So I'm going to attack 14.
that will not hit.
Nah.
Which brings us to him. He is so fucking mad and bummed out. He's going to rush you with his trench spike and throw 2 quick punches. Okay, so he'll hit with both.
Okay.
And that is 28 points of damage.
I'm going to use Uncanny Dodge so I don't fucking die.
And I need you to roll me a strength save, please.
Okay. That's a 7.
The strength of his blows, he's hitting so much harder than you think he has any right to. You get thrown back 30 feet.
Okay.
Pretty much the size of the
Out
room.
the door and down the stairs.
Yeah, I think you actually smash up against one of the windows, but the windows are small enough that you wouldn't just go through one.
Oh, okay.
So you hit it, the glass cracks and kind of fall forward onto a couch, taking an additional 2 points of damage.
Ooh, okay.
But because you land on a couch, I think you're back on your feet.
All right.
And he starts stalking towards you, screaming. As he goes, you notice that he picks up a bomb collar in each hand. Which brings us to Butthole.
I look over at Meisterburger walking towards Quinny and I go, "We're taking you alive, you fucking doink." And then I turn and Moonhammer is swinging in from one side and basically she's trying to punch one of those arms so she can try to knock one of the collars out of one of his hands. 10 total.
She punches, but he's a stout halfling. He shrugs it off.
That's okay. She was just the distraction. So now I am running towards him, which I imagine would bring him back into range of Hammer Guardians. So he's got to pass a wisdom saving throw of DC 15.
He does.
Then he takes 9 damage. And then my whole goal is I'm trying to shoulder charge him and just throw him as far back as I can. Not towards Quinny, but just sort of like sideways, you know?
Currently, you could probably try and knock him out the door onto the stairs.
Yeah, so this is like my Terry Tate off his linebacker moment.
Yep.
I'm just holding the word doink, and then I'm going to hit him. So what do I need to roll?
We'll do an opposed strength check. Oof.
I got a 9.
I got a 3.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll say I'll hit him with the toothy shield because I've got my T-Rex infused. Thanks. That gives me an extra bit of damage once a day, so I'll take that.
Deal, we'll say an unarmed strike. So D6 plus your strength plus whatever that toothy strike is.
That's another 9 damage.
Shoulder blast him, takes some spiky shield. And yet again, we move into gently slow motion. He gets knocked. He's got the 2 bomb collars in his hands. He's flying backward towards the stairs when all of a sudden you hear snarf, and through the window on a hang glider comes Goblin Jr. with wrench on the back, riding him like it's the fucking Dr. Strangelove. And they smash their way through. Can one of you roll me an insight check real quick?
Can we all roll inside?
Yes, please do.
11.
10.
15.
Quinny, you see this happen. It's pretty insane, but you know what you want to have happen. So I think you just look at Wrench and you make an explosion noise, and Wrench nods, and you see him fiddle with a thing on his belt. He holds up a button and goes, eh? Like shrugs at you and presses it, and Burgermeister explodes in the hallway. Just splatters guts, and you also hear a chain of explosions downstairs, and the foundations begin to rumble on the building.
The first thing I do, if I can take a move now.
Yes, we're out of
is-
initiative order.
okay.
The villains are dead.
I was blasted up against the window. The first thing I want to do, given that these fights happen in like a short amount of time, is look out the window. Can I see Billy Fingers and the monkey falling?
You see a monkey on the ground, no sign of Billy Fingers.
I'm going to look over at Quinny and say, get any fucking papers or plans you can. We got to hang a rope. And I'm going to go over to Paladin von Strauss and say, great work. This is probably not going to make you happy, but this is a good idea. And I pull the sword out of our mystical, scary, whatever. And I'm going to cast Revivify, which brings him back to life with 1 health point. And I'm going to say, listen, Doinko, this place is going to fucking collapse. So we're going to carry out of here, and then we'll talk. Enemy of my enemy is my friend, all right? I'm going to take that as an agreement. I sling the Palantir over his shoulder.
Goblin Jr. immediately goes and starts snarfing at you and pointing outside. You can see the SS McSquiggly is in close distance, and to your surprise and delight, Bucky is standing there behind a giant spear grapple gun.
All right, so I'm going to get out of the way of the window then.
Good call. A giant spike comes blasting through the window, digs solidly into that horrible carpet, and you can see Annan calling to you from up top, and Goblin Jr. snarfing at it, very proud of his hang glider.
Super good hang gliding. Quinny's going to grab a magic collar and a key for it.
There are no collars left.
Oh, damn. Okay.
But there are a bunch of papers, Burgermeister's
Yeah,
personal
we'll grab the
effects, all
papers.
sorts of stuff. So can you roll me an investigation check, please, real quick? And Paladin von Strauss, how do you feel about this revived Palantir?
I'm with it enough now. I think I'm coming to let this
Let this
play
slide.
out.
All right.
He's in control. I'll make my decision. I'm going to follow these guys and wait this out.
9 for investigation.
9 for investigation.
Could we all investigate?
Yes,
We got
please
them
do.
all? Yeah.
I trip, hit my head on a desk, and fart.
14.
I got 16 for investigate.
So, Quinny, you're looking for bomb collars, and you're not finding any, but the two of you managed to sweep paper off desks, grab ledgers, grab as much stuff as you can, and then Bucky says,
Come with me if you want to live.
So the McSquiggly descends to a height at which you can faster up down into it.
Then I looked at Goblin Jr. and Wrench, and I say, listen, Billy Fingers is down there fighting a psychotic monkey, also Moonlight Bringer. Can you guys get that?
And Goblin Jr. looks at you and is like, snarf, snarf, and points over the edge of the wall, and looking over the side of the prison, moving faster than you would think is possible, is Billy Fingers just fucking dragging Moonlight Bringer, just dragging it and climbing. The theme song is still going in his head, but now he's really tired.
I want to help him because he helped me. He got that monkey off my face. I cast Mage Hand, and I reach out and I pick him up.
Belay what I said, Goblin. Just pack up your hang glider. It's kind of cool.
Snarf. You all faster up down onto the McSquiggly, and behind you, the emerald parts of the prison begin to collapse and fall. And the last thing you see as the entire new structure collapses to dust is the head of good old boy Squidgy, and the skull almost looks like it's smiling as the monstrosity that was his final act implodes.
And I say, man, we killed a lot of people today.
You see a ton of inmates running out of the
Oh,
collapsing
good.
prison.
The criminals are free.
Yeah, there's a fight between Quinnies, and as the airship begins to pull away, you see mass chaos down there. But the old prison, still standing. Yeah. So you're now safely back aboard the McSquiggly.
Where's Ranger? I want to punch him in the nuts.
You're informed by some of Bryn's crew that Ranger and the entire Stained Guard are missing.
What?
They murdered a number of the crew and left.
Fucking Xanthus, you fucking blue asshole. Fucking fuck. And I drop my Palantir and I'm like, you fucking sit there for a minute. Do we have a goddamn collar for this asshole?
And Yevgenovich is like, I got one right here. And he just slams a non-magic collar over him and then just starts punching him in the face until he's unconscious.
Honestly, thank you. Do you know that's the one thing that worked out today?
You're welcome, buddy.
Monstros just like folds his arm and nods appreciatively.
So you're informed by Bryn that the unseen hand has seized Neverwinter. There are reports coming in that Lord Neverember and the entire ruling noble class have been executed and they have seized control of the city. However, there are rumors of a rebellion beginning.
Oh, fuck. Okay, I know where this is. And I turn to Bucky and I say, you set course for Fandelver.
Aye, aye, Mr. Butthole.
We're going back to where it begins, and this time we're gonna kick more fucking ass.
Is that Paladin von Strauss?
Yes, that is Paladin von Strauss.
Oh, that's so cool. And Quinny, you're you again. Hey, where's Alan?
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter, our special guest, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum-Dums and Dragons artwork is by Del Borovic, who can be found at delborovic.com. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum-Dums and Dragons.
Epilogue 1. Gary ran. After being cooped up for so long, it felt strange to be able to take long strides again, to feel the wind rustling his feathers. For a moment, he closed his eyes and opened his senses to the feeling of the breeze, the clean, fresh scent of the air. He tried to ignore the explosions and screams that carried on the wind, but that was none of his concern. Although things hadn't gone exactly according to plan, Gary did manage to achieve a few of his goals. Escape was first and foremost, never far from his mind. He knew with the war underway that his masters would have need of his services yet again, that perhaps he could be the tipping point to bring order to a chaotic world. His mind drifted back to the lab. He had been warned long ago that should the opportunity present itself, he should kill or recover the abducted geneticist Martha. She had been of great use to the unseen hand, but her abduction at the hands of the Plantiers had complicated matters greatly. He had hoped to extract her, but her death suited his purposes fine as well. The lab itself was his great triumph. Such power could not be left in the hands of the enemy. He could still feel his taloned fingers grasping the knob on one of the explosive tanks and loosening it. He'd hoped to escape, of course, before the lab exploded, but such advanced technology was unpredictable, to say the least. Can't argue with the results, though. The lab was destroyed, and Martha along with it. Where he had failed was in eliminating the Paladin von Strauss, foiled in his attempt to unplug the vital, life-saving gear before the explosion. The von Strasses had always been a thorn in his master's side, and he'd hoped to curry favor by eliminating the heir to their lineage. It had been a while since Gary had played dice, but if he was a gambling bird, he'd reckoned that fate was on his side in only one of these three objectives, the destruction of the lab. The rest was poor luck. Nevertheless, Gary was now free to report back to his masters, the only ones with the vision and pragmatism to bring order to the world, to ensure his freedom, the unseen hand, and his mistress, Lady Antebellum. The road would be long, but Gary resolved to enjoy it. He hoped Quinny would join him, but he was sure their paths would cross again someday. In the meantime, he had an open road, a clear blue sky, and room to move. Gary was, after all, a free bird. Epilogue 2. At first there was nothing, just darkness and an emptiness. And then there was fire. They could feel it, flicking at the very edges of their consciousness. Flames, smoke, breaking glass. Slowly, they began to blink their eyes through the smoke and the haze. Where are we? No one seemed to have a good answer for that. Are these our hands? Our beard? Our hooves? There were no clear answers, but there was fire. Slowly, like a long-forgotten instinct, they began to stand, unsteadily at first, their hooves slipping, their legs trembling. The hands were nimble, began to help them move aside debris. The eyes were keen, looking around. The large, long ears began to twitch, hearing the sound of vials exploding. Finally, the eyes spied it, a way out. We must go. As they began to run towards the small gap, their one chance at escape, finally, they thought, what are we? There was no answer, but there was escape, and thus they threw themselves through the small gap and out into a new world.